Okay, happy Monday. I would appreciate whoever is watching to get into the chat and say hello. Hello, hello, hello. It don't cost anything. Tonight I have a few things planned, prerequisites for fatbacks and a Chafee book, of course. I forgot my glasses. Any questions on last time? Ricardo, how are you? Dylan Connors. Is that who that is? Let me get my glasses. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. You all can hear me, yeah? Okay. Well, welcome, Dylan. That's nice. If you're going to frequent um, the stream, I'm streaming on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday so far. I might add to that. And that's on YouTube for now. Okay? What you want to do is email me. I will put you on my mailing list and you will get the week's agenda and PDFs if needed. Okay? Now, if you're going to frequent the stream, you're going to need a few different books that I work from. Let me put my email in here first. Just email me, Dylan, and you'll get the week's agenda plus PDFs if needed. Okay. Now, Ricardo, I've been putting the book together. I'm on number 8. Okay. Now I'm waiting. Let's wait a few minutes here. Sort of, I'm a little early, so that the chat populates and we could do tonight's lesson. Now, I want to work out of two things tonight. Okay? I want to work out of the stick control book. I'm going to give you some supplementary exercises to develop funk. Okay? Plus, or some funk drumming, all right? Plus fatback. Then we're going to work one of the or two of the combinations of the Gary Chafee book, time functions. So let me get back to what I was saying before about the books that you will need. You'll definitely need the stick control book, the syncopation book, the time functions. That's the pattern series. Just if you want to buy all, he has 4 or 5 of them, but I work mainly out of time functions and Joe Morello's Master Studies. So if you have that, you're almost there. You're on your way. Because I take pages and work on the pages, and it's easier. And what I'm really like, what I like is questions. If you ask me questions, that helps me give a better lesson, plus helps you and the others who are listening. Okay, so looks like this is going to be it for a little bit. So let's get to the lesson. We're going to work with prerequisites to fatback. Now, fatback, sorry. You know that the snare drum, as you know, we do the money beat or just the regular rock beat. 2 and 4 is the backbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, pop. Simple. Now, fatback is a displacement. Hey, Marco. Okay. It's a displacement of the accent. Instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, so on and so forth. We're going to get into that. But what we're going to do tonight is take some supplementary exercises. Stick control book. Dylan, do you have the stick control book? I know that you have the stick control book, Ricardo and Marcio. How you doing, Marcio? Where you been? Okay, so now, what I want to do is when we're playing the heavy backbeat from Gary Chaffee's patterns, we're dropping the 2 and 4, and we're laying that down as an ostinato pattern, and we're dropping the bass drum. We're doing a variety of bass drum hits. Okay, so and the snare drum was always on 2 and 4. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take one of the ostinatos, or maybe 2 or 3 of them, depending how it is. Marcia, is something wrong with your keyboard? You're not getting all the letters in there. I see an H and I see a hello MA and no TT. Okay, slow down, calm down. So, let's take the stick control book and let's take the first line of page 5 again. Again, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so now we're going to interpret that in a 16th note formation. We're going to consolidate the 2 measures into 1 measure, which would give me 1 E and a 2 E, a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And we're going to interpret the whole page that way for this particular exercise. So let's start off with a very simple ride cymbal pattern. I'm not going to play anything on the hi-hat tonight for these exercises, but I will use the hi-hat foot. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take all the rights and we're going to play them on the bass drum. All the lefts on the snare drum. Bass drum, snare drum. So we're using right now as an explanation, all right, the bass drum voice and the snare drum voice. So let's take the first line, thinking of it in 16th notes, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. All rights become the bass drum, all lefts become the snare drum. So I have this 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, now let's make this crazy, and it's going to be productive, not immediately. Okay, you need to do this very, very slow. What I like to do first is the ride cymbal on the counts of 1, 2, 3, 4, and play the line down with the bass drum and the snare drum as 1. I'm sorry, hold on. 1 E and a, 2, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. What that does, what the heck? All right. So now let's go back to where we were. We're playing the bass drum. So did I. I don't know why. All right. So now we're doing the bass drum and the snare drum. 1, E, and The right cymbal is 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to add the hi-hat. Now, has anybody ever heard of Bach's inventions? Now, I don't want to get into classical music, but there's one thing that really drove me crazy was Bach would play on the piano a melody. He'd start the first measure with the right hand, and then he'll go to the second measure with the right hand. But when he went to the second measure, he played the first measure of the melody with his left hand. And he continued through the whole melody like that. Now this is what we're not preparing to play piano, but to develop that intense coordination. So we're looking at line 1, okay? And we're interpreting between the bass drum and the snare drum. And the right cymbal, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the first line of stick control book between the ride cymbal and the hi-hat. However, I'm not thinking of it in 16th notes. I'm going to think of it as this. 1, E, and the 2, E, and the 3, E, and the 4, E, and the. Now, while I have that pattern going on, it's actually, what I'm doing is taking line 1 and playing it as written, but I'm doing a substitution. All the rights all right. Here's what it is, Ricardo. All right. For me to explain that, here's what it is. It's Beethoven, or Bach, I'm not sure who it was, inventions. I don't know the melodies he played, but that's the title, Inventions. I'll give you some more information on that, but it's insane. So what we're going to do now, let me get back to the lesson. We're going to take the first line. We're interpreting it as 1 E and a 2 E, 3 E and a 4 E and a. No problem. However, and we're adding the bass ride cymbal on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. But now we're going to interpret the first line of stick control book as I was playing all the rights. We're going to make all the lefts become the hi-hat, like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. And then while we were doing that, you're going to play line 1 the way I explained it a few minutes ago, like so. 1 E and the 2 E and the. Here we go. Let me do this again. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. There should be 3 E and. To do it slow is very difficult. Hey Paul, how are you? So what I'm doing is 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 and. And I'm playing my right foot, my bass drum and my snare drum, 1 E and a, while I'm doing that. So I start off like this. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E That should be the left foot, or left hand rather, I'm sorry. Oh, I get a little crazy. I'm looking at the screen and trying to do, very difficult, very difficult. So we have this. 1, E, and, it should have been the bass drum. 1, E, and, the. 2, E, and, the. 3, E, and, the. 4, E, and, the. We get that? Want me to slow that down anymore, or that's difficult? So I'm just trying to tell you, this is going to the fatbacks eventually, and we're going to study some ghost notes and some other snare drum parts other than 2 and 4. Okay? So now, if you're going to do the first, I would enter this as one, just playing 1 E and 2, 3, line 1. Line 2, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and. Line 3. Line 4. Line 5. So on and so forth. It sure is. It's very difficult in the slow motion, only because what you're doing when you're doing it slow, it gives you the time to know that's my bass drum part, that's my hi-hat part, my snare drum part, and my ride cymbal part. And you develop a sense of control, strong control. Okay? It's very difficult. It drives me crazy. Okay, like I was saying before, the booklets, I will definitely have a price on the booklets by Monday of next week. You guys could hold off for that? And I wanted to introduce you to this, between the bass drum and the snare drum. We've done that before with a couple different variations. If I'm playing this, if I'm playing just this ostinato and did line 1, that'd be 1 E, 1 E. Let me get that going on. 1 E and a 2. That's the money beat. That's the ostinato, cymbal ostinato. 1 E and 2. And so you got just an exercise. Line 3, for example. Line 5. Yeah, well, that's what I'm doing. If you need a PDF on this, I didn't have time to do any PDFs. I will produce a PDF for some supplementary exercises or developmental exercises so we get into fatback and some funk. Yeah, what you're doing is you're taking line 1 of the stick control book. Right, left, right, and 2, and 3, and 4 is what you're doing. And now I'm doing a substitution. Instead of playing right on the snare drum, I'm playing right on the ride cymbal. And the and instead of the snare drum with my left hand, okay, I'm playing it with my left foot. 1 and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and we're trying to do 1 E and 2 E and 3 E. That was line 3. That's what we're doing. If you need something, I'll send you guys something, no problem. Okay? Who left? Dylan, you still there, Dylan? Yeah, you're playing the and. What you're doing is line 1 of the stick control book. 3 and 4 and. You can do line 2, 1 and 2. The reverse. In the snare drum, you're playing, in the bass drum, you're playing what's written from the stick control book. It's very difficult. It takes a tremendous amount of time. And the key word here would be consistency. Every day. There's so much to practice. I get depressed because I can't do it. I practice one thing, teach a student, write a lesson, take my daughter to basketball, come back, write a lesson, teach another student, do a stream, write another lesson, and practice in between. You know, I used to be able to practice 3, 4, 5 hours every day. Every day. And it's just teach my students. That's it. I get up I start practice 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And after that, my students will come. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Now let's go to the patterns book. And you'll be getting this stuff as part of the booklet. We're going to go to the combinations. We were on combinations. Combination number, oh Lord. Come on, combinations. Let's try a combination. I think we did 23, 24, 25, and 26, and 27. Would anybody like me to go over any of that? The thing is to do it slow. Slowly. All right, let me hit 27. Again, the ostinato pattern that we're using is a simple eighth note pattern. That's actually the first ostinato pattern that you're going to get. And 2 and 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So that's going to remain the same. And we're going to run through the combination number 27. Does everybody know how to read combination number 27? Yes, no. Answer my question, please. Does everybody know how to read it? Yes, you do. No, you don't. If you don't, I'll just take a few minutes and explain it. That's all it takes. You're okay with 27. Okay, Ricardo. How about you, Dylan? Paul? Who else is here? Okay. And Marcio. Okay. What I've been doing, let me explain it to you, Dylan. Now, I work out of the Chaffee books, mostly out of this one right now, because I'm so overwhelmed. Okay. I'm just so overwhelmed with teaching and learning, and I probably learn. Oh, I can't wait till I wake up in the morning and learn as much as I possibly can and what's new on the agenda for my learning skills. Anyway, I'm putting this booklet together. It's 10 ostinato patterns. And I have all the Chaffee combinations together. So, and I will have it finished by the end of this week, and a price on it for probably Monday evening. Now, I don't want to get into any copyright infringement because the way I'm writing it, it's not there. The foot patterns are, the ostinato patterns, but what I'm writing and what I'm giving you is not there. It's there in separate segments, but it's not there with the ostinato and the foot pattern and the different things of that. I've taken a few of his cymbal ostinatos. I've taken a lot of ostinatos from the stick control book. So it's an incorporation of all of that. So I don't see any copyright infringement. Okay? So let's go to number 27. Okay, let's do just the bass drum part and the snare drum part over and over again. We'll leave the right hand out because we're using three voices here. We're using the hi-hat, the snare drum, and the bass drum. Okay, so we're going to do just the bass drum part right now and the snare drum part. I'm in a 16th note formation count. Okay, here we go. 1, E, play, boom. 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and 1, E, and 2, E, and 3, E, and 4, E, and familiarize yourself with that. Do it slow. Don't miss the rim shots that I've missed because I'm sitting a little low and I'm really tired. I have all these old man excuses, but you're not old. Okay, so now we're going to add this guy. Nice and slow. So I'm going to do the first measure over and over again. 1, E, and 2, and. I'm going to go to the second measure. 3, E, and 4, and 1, E, and 2, and 2, E, and. Go to the third measure. Next measure. Next measure. Next measure. Next measure. Next measure. That's pretty simple. Okay? Now, if you're not in a contest, you're not trying to say, I can play them real fast. It's about making them sound great, good. The voices are consistent. It's happening. You're in a groove. Okay? That I contradict a lot myself because you can't groove without music. But you can groove yourself in time. Okay? So let's play the whole thing. We'll play one measure of, we'll do 27, one measure each until I come to the end. 1, here you go. 3, here you go. So on and so forth. And that's where you want to go. But what I like to do, and I didn't do it tonight, is that endurance exercise with the bass drum. I'm playing 16ths. 1 E and the 2 E and the, for 3-4 minutes. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3. is that? Why are you retracting your messages, Marcio? I don't understand that. Message retracted. Okay. Do we have any questions on that pattern, number 27? We go to now 28. And if you notice, he follows the same kind of program here, which is great because you're getting used to that sequence. Eventually, we're going to mix it up. Like I said, that's what the lesson in the beginning, the lesson was all about, was kind of mixing up that left hand. And like I said, we didn't displace anything, and we didn't put no accents in it, so there's nothing to displace yet, but we will. Oh, but he's retracting it. Yes. All right, well, if you're going to, like I said, Dylan, if you're going to frequent the stream, which you're welcome to do, okay, those books are essential because that's what I work at, especially the stick control book and the patterns book. We've been doing a lot of work from this book, and we will continue to do a lot of work from this book. Like I said before, I put a booklet together of all of this stuff, and the students are going to purchase it. I don't know how much it's going to be right now, but it's 177 pages. And the syncopation book, and for hand exercise with Joe Morello's master studies, we're going to incorporate stick control book with master studies. And we're going to come up with a lot of different exercises, a tremendous amount of PDFs. We're going to have a great time, and we're all going to go on the journey of learning. You know, we all are on the same journey, whether you realize it or not. I mean, we love our instrument. Okay? We love our instrument, and we all are on the same journey. We are in different places because, you know, one guy like me has been playing 100 years. Another guy's been playing 20 years, 10 years, 2 days, 5 weeks. You know, so the patience and the revisiting of lessons or explanation of different things for the beginners or the intermediate or the advanced are helpful to everybody. We all are, like I said, we're all on the same journey. We are in a different place, playing wise, understanding wise, and we all have one thing in common other than playing the drums, is we all want to become better. You know, a lot of things are saying there's no right or wrong when you're playing music. Well, actually, there's no one way to play a tune, but there are rules and regulations, and there is a language. You know, it's like, you know, you could hold the drumsticks like this. I mean, you know, like baseball bats, or you could put them in your middle fingers and execute it. But is that real? Is that going to give you a more relaxed execution, a correct execution? So you're taking different platforms of understanding the level system and accents and developing correct execution. Now, when I play a tune, and everybody here, we all could play the same tune. Let's take a very common commercialized tune. We all know the Eye of the Tiger, and I could sit there and play the Eye of the Tiger, note for note, the way the drummer did, and I don't like to do that because that's, you know, emulating somebody else. I don't want to do that. I want to be an artist. I want to create myself. But we all can play that tune. Yet, we will all sit in with the same band, play that tune, and we will all sound different. All, but we're playing the same tune. How come? And we're correct. So what I'm trying to say, when you're playing the music, you feel the music the way you feel it. I mean, you don't want to play, we're playing a rock pattern. You don't want to burst into a polka like boom, pop, like, I mean, that's not, tasteful at all and not musical whatsoever. So, you have to understand all these things, and they're so hard to explain, and there's so much to explain. I'm exhausted. I mean, not exhausted doing what I do, but mentally. And, a lot of things get me upset because I'm cranky a lot of times. But anyway, let's go to another, I'm sorry, enough bullshitting. Let's go to number 28. We're just going to play a simple pattern. What's this? Okay. We're going to do number 28. We're using this pattern again. Constant. The first one. That's the first measure. Second measure. Next measure, third measure. Next measure. So on and so forth. What exercise are you talking about, Marcia? This one. Is that the one you're talking about, Marcia? Do it open-handed. By open-handed, it's right hand, like 1E, and the two, left-handed. That loosens up that foot. All right, one more, 29. Basic pattern, number 29. 3, 4, 1E and the 2, 3E and the 4. Next line. Next line. Next one. 1E and the 2. Next one. Next one. So on and so forth. Okay, so now, I would hang out with these as much as you can. I have to say this. Like I just said, we're all at different levels. And everybody says, well, you're the one and only teacher that's really getting down to basics. What does that mean? Getting down to basics. For you guys who can play this, it sounds pretty easy. But make it challenging. Do it left-handed. Or if you're left-handed, do it right-handed. Simple. Challenge yourself. Any questions? Where's my glasses? Any questions, gentlemen? No questions? Anything you want me to review? Anything you want me to go over? Slow down? You want me to go to the beginning of the lesson that I showed the stick control book? Yes, no. Hey, Paul, I'll have Okay, good. No questions. Hey, Paul, I'll have a price on those books next Monday at the lesson. Well, Dylan, you self-taught. Okay, good. Dylan, where are you from, Dylan? If you're in the tri-state area, that'd be great. All right, I'm about to wrap it up. I'm tired. Yeah, it's a, if you want to move these, if you really want to play them, the more time you spend with them, obviously it's going to get better. And that bass drum is what we're doing here. That's the solo voiced. Horst, who's that? You got it. You were here. No questions. Ontario, Canada. Okay. All right, guys. Uh, is that Horst? Manta? Get on my mailing list. Remember, Dylan, email me. You're not going to get a PDF in 5 minutes. I'm doing a lot of different things. I will give you the agenda, not this week, but next week. Okay? And what we'll do, if there's PDFs required, you will get them. Okay? What was that in Andrades, Brazil? I don't know where that is. I know where Brazil is. I've been there. Okay. Any questions before I close up? And Horst, please, where are you from? And email me. Okay, gentlemen. No questions. I'll see everybody tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Paul? Yeah, Dylan, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. If you can. Whoever can, 7 p.m. Paul? Okay, from Germany. All right, not a problem. But email me and I'll get back to you. Okay, guys, have a great night. See everybody tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good night.